So basically these two brackets right here are gonna mount into the factory spot. Let's see, I think this is, yeah, or this is the passenger side. But we finally got these Crossmember beams on. Now what we're gonna do is go ahead and start working on mounting this thing right here. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. As you guys see in the previous episode, we got the entire car vapor blasted, and let me tell you, Eric did a fantastic job getting everything nice and cleaned up off the frame rails up here. We also went ahead and hit the dashboard, and honestly, we're gonna keep this dashboard. I mean, it looked really bad, but after it got vapor blasted, it's really nice and smooth everywhere, so we're not gonna have to cut that out. And we didn't do the roof because, as you can see, it's warped really bad. There was no reason to waste materials on that. We got the entire rear done. Everything turned out amazing. And honestly, guys, I think all this stuff back here is all original. I don't think anything's ever been replaced. So that's pretty much why the insurance company wanted 20 grand for this car, because it's an all original beast. Honestly, like, everything is perfect. Little spots of rust here and there that we'll have to take care of. Same goes for the passenger side. Everything turned out beautifully. Even the door, there was literally no Bondo on it, which is crazy for a car this old to not have that much Bondo on it. That's pretty awesome. But in today's video, we're going to start installing our front suspension. So guys, here is our suspension. This is a Crossmember from Cortex Racing. They make some stunning killer products. Like, check out, this is the Crossmember for this car. They also make a lot of products for like newer cars, the newer Mustangs, older Mustangs. So pretty much all the Mustangs, Chevys, anything you possibly need for an older car, they make, and they do all this stuff right here in-house. And just check out all the TIG welds on these suspension pieces. So if you're in the works with building a car like this Mustang, or maybe a Camaro or something, make sure you check out cortexracing.com, see what they have. They do a lot of drag racing, street cars, just basically a lot of awesome products. So make sure you check them out. We'll go ahead and drop all the links down below. Now let's check out our new Crossmember that we have. Here's our entire kit that we got from them, and we haven't ordered any of the control arms yet because they do make custom link control arms. So if we want to go with a wide body on the car, we'd rather have the wheels stick out farther out of the wheel bases, because as you guys know, these cars are pretty narrow. They're not as wide as like a 67 Mustang or something like that, so they're really narrow. So we didn't get any of that yet. We're gonna wait until we get all this installed. But check out this freaking, this is just, it's such a unique design, and it's all their own design. You know, they custom build it, they custom designed it. And this right here is the Crossmember that's basically gonna hold the engine. Man, this thing is solid. Check that out. And then you got your urethane bushings that are gonna go in here, and then motor mounts that are gonna mount to the engine. And then this goes somewhere under here. I still do need to look at the instructions on how this bad boy gets installed, but I'm pretty sure it goes under just like that. We will have to do a little bit more trimming right here. So I'm gonna hop on Cortex's website real quick and see exactly how this thing installs, and then we can start installing it. So we're actually on their website right here, and as you can see, they do a lot of cool stuff. You know, they got street mods, track mods, race car mods. So they have everything. Now we just need to go to support and go to instructions right here, and we're basically gonna see exactly how this kit goes together. We do have the 64 to 70. Sweet, we have all the instructions. So I'm gonna go over this real quick, and we're gonna see exactly how to install this thing, and then we'll hop on the Mustang and start installing it. So guys, we checked out exactly all the instructions, and honestly, it's a lot simpler than I thought it would be. So basically, these two brackets right here are gonna mount into the factory spot. Let's see, I think this is, yeah, or this is the passenger side, and there's actually already bolts or two holes right here. This was for the original steering. There's a steering box on that side, and then there's the steering linkage on this side. And basically this is gonna slip on top, and we're gonna have to drill two more holes, and this is gonna get welded to the actual front Crossmember, because you can't put the Crossmember on with this welded, it just won't fit up. And now all we need to do is do some more trimming, because we do need to get rid of these old brackets. There's two little brackets right here on this side and two brackets on that side. That is from the old suspension. So we're pretty much removing everything from the factory suspension, and we're gonna use this entire kit. So the first thing we're gonna do is grab our belt sander and take out all these spot welds and get this little old bracket off. Safety's #1 priority. Now we definitely need to make a trip to Harbor Freight though, because they do have the best parts in the industry.
Yeah, I mean, like, Milwaukee's nice and all, but like,
Harbor Freight, man, it's top tier. Right. Now Harbor Freight is good for like accessories. Like, we got this from Harbor Freight, and it's perfect.
It's been 2 weeks, still good.
No, we actually got that when we first opened shop. So now all we're gonna do is drill out these 2 little brackets, a couple spot welds under here, nothing too serious. Well guys, that's the last bit of the factory suspension on the car. Now what I'm gonna do is go ahead and clean up that whole entire area, and we're gonna see exactly what we're gonna put on first of the kit. All right, guys, we got all this nice and cleaned up. It's looking good and ready to go. So now that we have all that nice and cleaned up, now what it's time to do is go ahead and actually install these side piece members. These go on first, and then what we're gonna have to do is actually trim the frame rail right here, because see, this has to slide over here, so we're actually gonna have to trim down this pinch weld right here. We're gonna trim it down and weld it up. So let's go ahead and give it a nice trim, and then we can put our template over it, because we also need to make 2 more holes, because this side only has 2 holes, and as you can see on that side it has 4 holes. This right here is actually the insert plate for here, because as on that side, that's where the steering box was, so there's already little inserts in there, and this side doesn't have it. So this is basically going to prevent the frame rail from crushing together once we put this on. And then this right here comes with a little template, so we can see exactly where we need to make our other holes. So we're gonna go ahead and trim this down right here and then fit this piece on. That battery. So we went ahead and removed most of the pinch weld, and I kind of messed up just a little bit. For some reason, I thought these holes were supposed to go in here, but it turns out there's actually a template which we need to bolt onto here, and then we can see exactly where we need to drill our holes. And we'll do the same thing on this side, and then the same thing on this side. Then we can drill holes all the way through, and then after that, we can go ahead and mount our first suspension cross member piece, and man, does that look awesome. So let's go ahead and mount this template up and drill all the holes we need. All right now we are drilling the pilot holes for the spacer. Now we're going to go in with this. We're going to use a step drill bit to make these holes a lot bigger. Whoa. So guys, check it out. We got the sleeves installed, and now we can finally install our first suspension piece. And now this is gonna slide right on top, just like that. Let's go ahead and get all the bolts in there. And don't worry guys, this is just gonna be a rough fit for now until we get everything set up here, welded. Then we'll take everything back apart and get everything nice and painted so there's no bare metal exposed. But this is just part of the process. So guys, check it out. We got the first Crossmember installed, and man, let me tell you, that is one sturdy Crossmember beam. And now what we need to do is on the other side, all we have to do is trim the pinch weld. We don't have to actually put a sleeve in there because there already is one. So let's go ahead and install the other side. Oh my goodness, look how freaking sick that looks. It's done though. So check that out guys, we finally got both of these suspension cross members on, and honestly it's more progress than we've made on that car in a long time. I hate to say it, but we finally got these cross member beams on. Now what we're gonna do is go ahead and start working on mounting this thing right here. And man, let me tell you guys, this workbench is probably the best thing I've ever had, honestly. Like, this is the best thing to work on. We got the Crossmember just set up right here. We got all the instructions, and I really love the stainless steel. So if you guys are in the market for a workbench, make sure you check out borrows.com. We'll drop a link down below. But now it's time to go ahead and try to mount this Crossmember up. So what we're gonna do first is we need to bolt these brackets on. These are the brackets that are actually gonna weld onto the car. So let's say this side is gonna weld on just like that, and then the cross member gets bolted onto there. So let's go ahead and bolt these onto here, and then we can line it up. There's a factory bolt on the frame rail, which we're gonna line everything up. We're gonna put these on like that, line it up, clamp it, and then take off the actual cross member and get this area right here ready to weld, because we also need to drill 2 more holes so this can slide up in there. So let's get to it. So right now we're actually gonna bolt on this bracket right here to the actual subframe, and then we'll line the whole subframe underneath the car. We got the brackets on, and now let's go ahead and put the cross member underneath. I already got the jack under there. Alrighty. I didn't tighten the brackets up yet because I want to put it in the perfect place and then tighten them up. Dude, check that out. That looks freaking epic. Oh my goodness. It's just such a well thought through suspension. I'm in love. And honestly guys, we did reach out to a lot of other companies, And out of all the companies I didn't think that would actually respond was Cortex Racing, and they're the only ones that replied. And honestly, I'm so glad they did, because this is probably the best built suspension you can probably get for these Mustangs. So we got the Crossmember on, and dang, does it look good. Now all we need to do is figure out, line it up perfectly with the bolt hole inside here, and then we can make some markings and take it all off and drill 2 holes underneath there, and then we can mount it up and start tacking stuff together. We got the subframe all lined up in the necessary spots. Now I'm gonna go ahead and scribe it, and then we'll get the hole saw out. Now we need to just drill 2 holes, and then we can start prepping everything for welding. Go ahead and see. So basically, these 2 bolts need to go into the frame rail. So I think we'll grab, yep, that's a perfect hole saw right there. Yeah, this one will work perfectly. Fit. Beautiful. And we have a little bit of movement for adjustments. All right, so we got both holes drilled in here. Now what we need to do is go ahead and clean up the entire area and get it ready for some tack welds. So we got everything nice and cleaned up, and now what we need to do is basically reassemble our bracket under our subframe and lift it back in there, get it fully into position, and then we can start tack welding. So we got the Crossmember back in, and now you can see everything is nice and flush, and I went ahead and prepped all the surfaces, got everything ready. This thing is ready to weld, so let's go ahead and grab the welder and we'll start putting our first tack welds. So we gotta roll out the trusty HTP welder. All right guys, so we got our HTP 220. Man, this welder has been a beast. We've been using it for probably half a year now, never any issues. So let's go ahead and set this up. And the cool thing is we can pretty much put our ground anywhere, because everything on this car is sandblasted. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up the welder, and then we're gonna get to welding. Dude, that is freaking sick. Check out that suspension. That's gonna handle this car around a racetrack with precision. It's gonna be faster than my McLaren, I'm gonna tell you what. So guys, we finally got the Crossmember tacked in. I can't fully weld it yet because I don't have my welding mask, and honestly it's getting a little late, so I think we're gonna wrap up the video here. But check it out, we got the suspension all bolted in exactly how it should be. We still need to tighten up these bolts, but we will be taking the Crossmember off. I'm not sure if we're gonna do any powder coating on it or what we're gonna do just yet, but honestly in the next video we'll probably take this back off, get everything fully welded up, and maybe just paint it black, because I don't know about getting it powder coated. We still have to weld these main bars to the actual Crossmember. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool, unique design by Cortex Racing. I gotta say, they did an awesome job. And from watching their race car that they built, the red Mustang with the wide body, it is sick. And also, as I was stating earlier about the control arms, we haven't ordered any of them yet because I'm not sure how wide we're gonna go with the car yet. I wanna make it a little bit wider just so it would handle better like at a track, or if we go like through the mountains or something. Because I want this car to basically be like a fast daily driver car, not some sluggish piece of junk, you know, that with the drum brakes that it had on here. And we also still do not have our motor mounts or our other mount that's going to go right here for the coilover system, because as you guys know, we did delete the big old shock towers in here. And now the next step is going to be probably start removing this firewall in the back and start seeing exactly how we're gonna position the motor, because I know you do have to cut the transmission tunnel. That transmission tunnel won't fit with our bigger transmission from the modern day Mustang. So guys, in the next episode, make sure you don't miss it. We're gonna go ahead and fully weld up this entire Crossmember. Probably go ahead and bring our 5.0 motor over here and go ahead and start lining it up in here and see how it lines up and see what we need to trim, see what we need to do. And then maybe we'll even start working on the front fender areas and see exactly how we're gonna do that. But if you enjoyed today's episode, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Drop a like on Instagram at vTuned. We post a lot of cool sneak peeks over there. And as always, thanks for watching. Do the thing. Man, I got shavings all over me. These are some dangerous ones. I need a whole hazmat suit working on these cars. Whoa. And that is how you almost lose an arm. What is ours? We have, wait, who's calling me? Yo, what's up?
Your alarm's going off.
Well, it's time for dinner.